Like I
Yeah.
remember when that lady asked me, she goes, yeah, I want to sculpt a dinosaur and I want light to come out of it. And I said, yeah, I can do that. Never even entered my mind that I would come up with that idea. This 90-year-old lady, and she says, I want to leave a big monument to the state of Wyoming at the Tate Museum, and I want it to be a dinosaur light coming out of it. And I thought, wow, that is what a request. Well, if I'm going to do a dinosaur, I'm going to do a T-Rex. And if I'm going to do light out of it, I know I got to have a negative cavity in there. So I'll make it half flesh and half skeletal. So when you looked at one side of the whole sculpture, it looks like a completely fleshed out T-Rex. And then you'd spin it around and it would be a total skeleton. And I don't know. It was it was a cool concept. It had light coming out of it. And the same lady also commissioned me to do, I did a 17-foot tall Jesus Christ, and it was a Sacred Heart of Jesus. And she wanted light to come out of his heart. I designed that, and it was a challenge to do that. So I've only done two sculptures with light coming out of them. And Mary Alice Tobin was the benefactor who commissioned me to do that. And then on the last piece I was working on, she passed away before I got it done for her. But artists need those kind of collectors and sponsors to do a lot of these big projects, and I'm always grateful for that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I get to make a living doing something I do for nothing, and I get paid for it, and I've been able to make a good living at it, but I don't want to take it for granted because I know what it's like not to have nothing, and I know what it's like to be at the bottom, looking your way up, trying to like going to 5 galleries and they all turning you down because they don't want to represent you because your work's not good enough. I know what that's like.
Yeah.
It's not a good feeling, but it fires you up. I always, I'm trying to help other artists out, and I tell them I let rejection work for me. When someone tells me that my work's not good enough, or I can't get in this show, or I get rejected for this, or I get a rejection letter for applying for a big show, or a gallery turns me down, says no, I just say, oh yeah, okay, so look, give me a chance. I'm going to work a little harder and get it right, and then I mean, the first time I went to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, to try to in galleries. It was before I became a professional. I had like 5 or 6 little sculptures, and I went in my little portfolio and I knocked on 5 doors. I started at the best gallery and went down to the other ones. So I said, well, these are the 5 galleries I'd want to be in. They all told me no. And my wife was waiting for me in the car, and I went back and I said, you know what? I'm not good enough yet to get in these galleries. I want to go home and work harder. That's how I took it. I didn't say like, oh golly, I can't, this and that. I mean, you're not going to please everybody with your work, and you shouldn't try to, but you should try to do the very best. And that's the only thing I can really do. I can't do anything else. And I try not to let others, what's going on in someone else's mind, really, I got no control of that. But I can try to control my mindset. And that's kind of how I look at it. And I've been fortunate to make a living at it with that kind of mindset. And, I know there's a lot of young artists because I get approached by all these artists that want to be represented at my own gallery in Sedona. And we only have probably about 15 artists. And I have to take somebody down to put somebody new up. And it's hard rejecting these young artists that come in there and they bring their portfolios because I know what it's like, and I tell them that. I said, man, good luck, because you know what? Just keep working hard. I said, you know how you get better? Make lots of art. And the more art you make, the better you're going to get. I mean, I don't know any other simple way to explain it, but the sheer number of hours you put in the process, that's how you get better. There's no quick fixes. There's not no gallery. There's not no art agent. There's not no article in some magazine that's going to make your career. It's a lifelong struggle. You just keep doing and going to the next thing. Like when I finish a big sculpture, I put that aside and don't even think about it anymore. I go start on another one, and I think that's the way I approach it. I'm not saying my way is doing it is the right for everybody. It's just worked for me.